You know that feeling when your heart starts racing and you don't know why? Like your body's preparing for a threat that doesn't exist. You're not losing your mind. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. It's just doing it in a world it wasn't built. For here's what nobody tells you about anxiety. The reason you feel anxious for no reason is because it actually is a reason, you just can't see it. And that's not your fault. We've been living in a fundamentally different environment for about 70 years now. But our nervous systems are still running on software from 10,000 years ago. If you felt anxious, it meant something was actually wrong. A predator nearby, a rival tribe, a real physical threat. Your body would flood with cortisol and adrenaline. You'd fight or run, and then the threat would be gone. The anxiety would disappear. But now, the threats never go away. They're abstract. They're constant. They're invisible. An email you haven't answered. A text you saw but didn't respond to. The possibility that someone is upset with you. A deadline 3 weeks away. A conversation that went slightly wrong 2 days ago. Of these things will kill you, but your body doesn't. Know that so, let's talk about why the normal advice doesn't work. Everyone tells you to just relax. Just breathe. Just meditate, and sure, that stuff helps in the moment, but it's like being a firefighter. You're constantly putting out fires. But you never stop to ask why the building keeps catching on fire in the first place. You feel anxious? You do a breathing exercise. The anxiety fades. You feel good for an hour? Then it comes back, so you breathe again. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you journal, and it works. For a bit, but you're stuck in this exhausting loop where you're managing the symptom instead of understanding the system. Here's the thing. Anxiety isn't the enemy. Anxiety is information. It's your body trying to tell you something. And if you keep ignoring the message and just trying to make the feeling go away, you'll never actually solve the problem. Think of it like this. Imagine you're a golfer, and every time you swing, the ball slices to the right. You could spend years adjusting your stance, your grip, your follow-through, trying to fix that slice, or you could step back and realize the problem isn't your technique. The problem is you're using the wrong club. Most people treat anxiety the same way. They try to fix their thoughts, fix their habits, fix their breathing, but they never step back and look at the actual structure of their life. So, here's the new concept. I call it the anxiety architecture. Most people are living in what I call a dash-shaped life. One straight line, one identity, one way of being. You're either calm or you're anxious. You're either productive or you're lazy. You're either doing well or you're falling apart. There's no room for complexity. No room for the middle ground. And that's the problem, because life isn't a straight line. It's messy, it's layered, it's full of contradictions. But your brain is trying to force everything into a simple binary, and when reality doesn't fit, you feel anxious. The solution isn't to fight that anxiety. The solution is to build a different architecture, to move from a dash-shaped life to what I call an M-shaped life. Multiple pillars, multiple sources of meaning, multiple identities that can hold the weight of who you actually are. Let me explain the mechanism behind this. There's a concept in psychology called identity. Foreclosure. It's when you lock yourself into one version of who you are, and then you spend all your energy defending that version. You tell yourself, I'm the responsible one. I'm the calm one. I'm the one who has it all together. And then the moment you feel anxious or uncertain or out of control, your whole identity feels threatened. Because if you're supposed to be the calm one, what does it mean when you're falling apart? If you're supposed to have it together, what does it say about you when you don't? This is why anxiety feels so overwhelming. It's not just a feeling, it's an existential crisis. Your nervous system is reacting not just to the thing in front of you, but to the collapse of the story you've been telling yourself about who you are. And here's where it gets interesting. Research shows that people with multiple, non-overlapping identities are significantly more resilient to anxiety and depression. Because when one part of your life feels chaotic, you still have other parts that are stable. You're not just a worker. You're also a friend, a learner, a creator, a person who cooks, a person who walks, a person who reads. When work is stressful, your whole world doesn't collapse because work is just one pillar. So, let's break this down into practical steps. Here are the 3 mental shifts you need to make. Shift 1. Stop trying to eliminate anxiety. Start decoding it. Most people treat anxiety like a bug in the system, something that needs to be fixed or removed. But anxiety is a feature, not a bug. It's your body's way of saying, something here doesn't align. So instead of asking, how do I make this feeling go away? Start asking, what is this feeling trying to tell me? Let me give you an example. I had a friend who would get anxious every Sunday night, like clockwork. Heart racing, couldn't sleep, felt like something bad was about to happen. For years, he thought he just had Sunday anxiety, like it was this random thing his brain did. But when he actually sat with it and asked what the feeling was about, he realized something. He hated his job, not in a dramatic way. He didn't wake up every day miserable, but deep down, his body knew that every Monday he was walking into a place that drained him, and his anxiety wasn't random. It was a warning signal. Once he understood that, he stopped trying to fix the anxiety and started fixing the actual problem. He didn't quit his job overnight, but he started making changes, small ones, setting boundaries, looking for other opportunities. And the Sunday anxiety, it didn't go away completely, but it shifted. It became quieter, less overwhelming, because it wasn't fighting to get his attention anymore. Shift 2, build multiple pillars of identity. This is the M-shaped life. I mentioned earlier, if your entire sense of self is tied to one thing, your job, your relationship, your productivity, then any threat to that thing feels like a threat to your entire existence. And that's when anxiety becomes unbearable. But if you have multiple sources of meaning, multiple ways of seeing yourself, then you have room to breathe. Here's how you do it. Pick 3 areas of your life that have nothing to do with each other, not 3 things you're good at. 3 things that make you feel like yourself. Maybe it's writing, maybe it's running, maybe it's cooking for your friends, maybe it's learning a language, maybe it's playing guitar badly in your room. It doesn't matter what they are. What matters is that they're separate. So when one pillar shakes, the others hold you up. I know someone who's a lawyer. High-stress job. Lots of pressure, but he's also a drummer in a band that plays once a month at a tiny bar. And he told me once that no matter how bad his week is, the moment he sits down at that drum kit, he's not a lawyer anymore. He's just a guy hitting things with sticks. And that shift, that ability to step into a completely different version of himself, is what keeps him sane. Shift 3. Create a daily anchor ritual. This is the system that holds everything together, because here's the problem with anxiety. It pulls you into the future, into all the things that could go wrong, all the things you haven't done yet, all the ways you might fail. And when you're living in that space, you're never actually present. You're never actually here, so you need an anchor, something that brings you back. Not a coping mechanism, not a way to escape an anchor. A ritual that roots you in the now. For some people, it's a morning walk, same route, the same time. For others, it's making coffee in a specific way. Slowly, deliberately. For others, it's 5 minutes of just sitting in silence before the day starts. It doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent, because what you're doing is training your nervous system to recognize a moment of safety, a moment where nothing is being demanded of you, a moment where you don't have to perform or produce or prove anything. And over time, that moment becomes a place you can return to, not to hide from anxiety, but to remember that you're bigger than it. Here's the reframe. You're not someone who's broken because you feel anxious. You're someone who's sensitive to misalignment. The body is trying to protect you. It's trying to show you where your life doesn't fit anymore. And instead of fighting that, you can start listening. You can start building a life that has room for all of you, not just the calm version, not just the productive version. All of you, the anxious parts, the uncertain parts, the parts that don't have it all figured out, because those parts aren't the problem, they're the signal. If this helped, the next video is about why you procrastinate even when you care.